Hello, my name is Melanie Goodfellow. I am the Senior International Film Correspondent for Deadline Hollywood. It gives me great pleasure to be here in the studio with Nadav Lapid with your film Ken.
Pleasure.
Yes. And it's about a couple who are kind of quite bohemian and quite subversive. He's a comic and she's kind of like, I don't know, fitness guru as far as I can tell, a performer. And they go to these parties, but it's like almost like situationist type thing, and sort of get everybody partying and doing kind of crazy things. But in the backdrop, it's post-October the 7th, and so the country's in shock. And every now and again, there are little texts popping up saying how many people have died in Gaza, and everybody's kind of processing things but ignoring things at the same time. So I just wanted to sort of understand the starting point of this film for you.
Yeah, so in a way, the starting point was I started writing the script before the 7th of October, and the starting point was to write about as you say, to the bohemian couple of artists who become slowly clowns and even kind of prostitutes in jet set Israeli parties, and to talk about the weakness of the artist today, who no longer has the capacity to say no, only yes. This submission of the artist, and in a way, the death of this posture, this position of artist, in a way, death of art, and then happened the 7th of October. And I guess that's, of course I was shocked at it, but it made me realize that maybe as an Israeli director, before I talk about the death of art, I need to talk about death, because suddenly, the death of artists, the death of art was replaced by people dying all over. Maybe talking about anything else is a privilege that I felt in a way that the Israeli director doesn't have. I mean, he is forever and ever prisoner of the politics of his country, which means being prisoner of the war and the horror.
So where did you shoot it exactly? You shot some of it in Israel, but was it all shot in Israel?
No, we shot a big part, 80% of the movie in Israel, 20% in Cyprus. We were shooting during the war, missiles was falling around us. It looked like producers said it looked like an extremely strange and irrational idea to shoot at this point, but in a way that we felt also, I think, that this is exactly what makes it necessary. So we were shooting during the war, and including 3 or 4 days where we were shooting very, very close to the border with Gaza. And a little bit like in the movie, we were approaching more and more. With each day, we were approaching more and more, the border, 1 kilometer, 700 meters, 600, and then in the last day, we were on the hill that is entitled in the film, but also in real life, Love Hill, in a kind of tragic, comic way. And from this Love Hill, we were shooting a scene about a couple, but in front of us, behind their back, there was the war. There was smoke rising, endless smoke rising from Gaza. There were endless dozens of thousands of noises of missiles, of artillery coming from Gaza. You ask yourself, I ask myself, how many people died since we began shooting this scene till the moment that we ended shooting it. There's a moment, that there is a kind of we are panning from the couple to Gaza, and I felt, it's like panning from fiction It's a documentary. It's like it was spanning like from Israelis to Palestinian, spanning from the living one to the dying one, from life to death. But it was also about, I think, something that exists in the film, this obligation to look, to observe, to see, to look at the horror, to see it, because I think big part of the movie is about blindness, about attempts to live beside the horror, to ignore it, the first part of the movie is almost a kind of musical. People are dancing, partying, singing, and as you say, from time to time, the horror pops up.
So are those real texts, or that actually those
text.
incidents, like 95 dead in that house collapses in Gaza, or there's
If I would have shown you my phone, so because again, I wanted to, because there was no distance from reality. When we were shooting, it was happening. These things were happening and are happening on a daily basis. So I was like, taking screenshots of real incidents that were, things that I found in newspapers. So I had in my phone maybe like 50 screenshots with 90 people died, 80 people died, 70 people died. At the end, I've chosen almost accidentally 2 or 3 that appear in the movie.
really happened. Yeah. So we were talking before. The film goes all over Israel. Go to Caesarea, I think, is that the real place? Tel Aviv, Dead Sea. You go up to the border. You see all these landscapes and all these places. You see like life continuing in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is kind of like can be a party city, and people can be very fit on the beach and stuff. So you see all of this, and when I was watching it, like the message is not positive about your country, but I feel like at the same time it's like a love letter, like of a place you've fallen out of love with. I don't know, but what were you trying to say with this movie?
No, I think that we are so used, I think, all of us, to try to overcome contradictions, but the truth, the reality, for me, is exactly in this contradiction. I mean, yeah, it's a love letter to a place that becomes impossible. It's a love letter to a place that will be stained for I don't know how many years with what it's doing right now, and yet, myself, when I was like wandering in the streets of Tel Aviv on my bike, looking for places to shoot, each corner of a street looked to me magnificent and charming. I was in kind of bulimic mood. I wanted to shoot everything. I wanted to put my camera, all over Israel, surely all over Tel Aviv, the city where I was born and I grew up. And I felt that in a way, it's not only because I was fascinated, etc., but I'm fascinated by this place, not only nostalgia, but I felt also that it's a kind of testimony from the very last moment that you can still shoot this place, show it in a film, in a kind of half innocent way. That this place will keep on existing, but it will never be the same. That in a way, it's a farewell letter also, and a farewell letter of a place from itself.
You're saying farewell.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned also the scenes with the red at the end as well.
Yeah. I felt there's a scene in the movie where suddenly everything is red. Everything is covered with red. Everything as if the people themselves, they look at the other 2 people driving on a car. Main character looks at the other person. He is red. The other person looking at him, and by his eyes, understand that he himself is also red, as if red people are walking on red streets, on red sidewalks, and the sky is red as well. So I felt in a way, that I'm shooting these places in the last second before they won't be themselves anymore. They will be red.
Just like one last question. Obviously, the film is playing in Directors' Fortnight here, and the news isn't getting any better in terms of what's happening in Gaza, which I think you're also criticizing Israel's what it's doing in Gaza. How does it feel to be playing here now? Did you ever think maybe you wouldn't want to play it here, or you didn't make? Yeah, what does it feel like to be here now at this particular moment?
I mean, the film began as a lot of things, a mixture of a lot of things, because, as I said, the film is at the same time a lot of genre. It's like at the same time a musical and a political film, and a film about love, and a film about the city. And in a way, it ends almost as a documentary. I think there are scenes that you look at the news and you see like real scenes from the movie. I feel that while I was making this film, I was the film, during the preparation, fabrication, the film was accepted by many people. I mean, the film evoked a lot of fear. I felt in a way that, in a strange way, during the fabrication, the film became a kind of tool that could distinguish between courage and fear. I felt a lot of fear, fear from the side of financiers, fear from the side of yeah. But I think that today, where things that are said in the film and looked maybe too extreme become reality that you read on the news. I think that the film fulfilled the role that cinema should have, which is express the voice of those who don't have an army and don't have tanks and don't have billions in the bank, the voice of those whose voice is not maybe heard enough, in reality, and that using images and sound can tell their truth.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.